Just trying to get me a little bit of smoke going here. One thing that I wish I would have known was how lazy people at the job can be. Okay? And lazy people at the job, that's a gold mine. Let me move you over so you can see. So what I wish I would have realized earlier is just how lazy people could be at the job. You understand? And I'm not talking about in the sense of like your cousin who won't go to work, sit at home, play video games, that kind of lazy. Let me give you just a quick story. So when I got to the job, I'm working hard. I'm trying to figure things out. But there was this one guy, and we're just gonna call him Oscar Don't, right? Oscar Don't was very, very lazy. And when I say lazy, he was lazy in the sense that there were things that he just felt that he's been working long enough that things were beneath him. Well, that's your gold mine when you get to the job. People like him. Every department has them. You got a department of 10 people, 2 or 3 people are going to be like Oscar Don't. So what he used to do is let's say his hours are 9 to 5. He would get in about 9 o'clock on the nose. First thing he would do is he'd go get 2 or 3 people. Let's walk down. Let's get some breakfast and some coffee or whatever, bagel, whatever. He'll come back, and then everybody that was sitting around and be like, oh, how was your weekend? Now he has to talk to everybody about their weekend. Maybe 10 o'clock, he'll do a meeting, do some work. 10:30, smoke break time. All right. Come back in about 10 to 11 o'clock. And then the next thing he would do is he would do a little bit of work. 11:30 is lunchtime. Come back from lunch, do a little bit of work, do a meeting. Next thing he would do is smoke time again. So I started realizing what was going on, right? So I'm like, okay, this guy, he doesn't like to do a whole lot of work. He just likes to do the very top of the work, and the rest of the work was beneath him. So what we did was, I'm in the engineering field, and you always need instructions for engineering. Okay. So he would do something to be on a project, whatever. And you would have to write these things called KBAs. They were knowledge-based articles. They're just directions. So your frontline people, if somebody has an issue, they can look at these instructions and try this before they have to pass it on to a different group. He wouldn't do that. So I found that out from the support people. So you had your frontline people, then you had a next level person. And then if something happened, you would pass it to me when I first got there. And so I figured that out. So what I did was I was like, all right, let me do something here. I was like, do you mind if I write the KBAs? I said I'd have to come to the meeting, I would have to record the meeting. Then I'd take it back and I'd write up the KBAs. And he was like, yeah, I don't want to do that. Well, that did a couple of things for me. First of all, it introduced me to other people in the meeting that were at a higher level than me, right? The second thing that did was I knew how to do things that came in the company way before first and second and third level, because Oscar Don't got me in the meetings. This is how we tested it. This is how it works. This is what we had to do. And then I could do that stuff on my own. I took that information and I would do that for other people. Well, I became known from my level to these higher levels, as being efficient and proficient in doing a lot of things. And they were like, oh, JB will do it. JB will do it, Well, when it was time to interview for other positions, there's still politics behind the scene. Doesn't matter how much there's still politics behind the scene. Once I navigated the politics, learned that from some of my mentors. Once I navigated that, I'd get the job because the manager would interview me. They would talk to different people in the group. And oh, yeah, I've been working with him for over a year, 2 years. He comes to our meetings. He did these KBAs. He did these knowledge-based articles, these directions, instructions. And he did a pretty good job on it. Also, I became more of an expert, all because of Oscar Don't. Oscar Don't did not want to do 20% of his job. So if something went wrong on that front line, as opposed to going all the way back to Oscar Donk, who would do whatever he could to not talk to the front line, they would come to me. And I would say, did you try this? Or I remember hearing something in a meeting about that. If it worked, we'd update the KBA. Next time people have an issue, that knowledge-based article was right. So the point behind this whole thing is, I want you to realize that lazy people at your job can be your gold mine. When you go in, the first thing you do is you try to find the Oscar Don'ts in the higher up jobs. They're easy to find. They're always in the smoking hut. They're always in the cafeteria. They're usually really nice people because they want to go to everybody's desk and talk. Once you find those Oscar Don'ts, get cool with them. Try to see if they will include you in some things that they don't like to do. Because remember, a lot of times when you come in, you're the rookie. It's just like football. There's a guy that comes in from college and he feels that he can tackle just as good as anybody. But there's already somebody playing that position, right? There's already that linebacker right there playing that position. So that rookie may have to go and do some special teams. He's on special teams for most of the practice, and then he has to keep learning his linebacker responsibilities. He may have to come in earlier. He may have to stay later. To look over the plays and understand a 300-page playbook or whatever. So that's what I'm telling you to do. When you come in, you may be in this one position, but you may have to play a different role. Obviously, you don't want to be like the secretary role and take this guy's notes and put them into something. But you'll learn faster than other peers, and you will be known for putting that direction and instruction out there. And then when that guy retired, because Oscar Donk, he is long retired now. I'm sure he's telling everybody that he worked really, really hard for 40 years and whatever, but he was good at not doing work. I mean, he would put effort into it. So nice guy, though. Super nice guy, He had the balding head, the wire flame round glasses, little blondish beard. It's a cool guy. So what I'm telling you is, you may have to do certain things just like that. But if you do them, it'll pay off. If I would have did this and learned this earlier in my career, there's no doubt that I think that I would have moved up sooner. But you don't know what you don't know. So I'm just dropping game on you guys. All right, this has been JB. Let me get over here to my smoke, and I'm going to sit down and chill for a minute.